Hey, so I'm back, and this morning I managed to get the guards finished, welded, painted, etc. And I thought, well, I've got about an hour tonight, so I can get a few bits and pieces done on this. Now, I spoke to my wheel alignment guys up the road today, and they've said that yes, they can do a wheel alignment on it, but I need to have working brakes, only the front brakes. So at least something. So I'm going to need to jimmy up the front brakes somehow. I might just make some makeshift lines just to connect the brakes so that they work, and we should be good to go. And what else was there? So, oh yeah, so I've got to swap out the front shocks, which I have here. Thank you, Benny. You here to help? Or anyway, let's throw that for me. Come here. Yeah. So I'm going to put these Teins in here into the car, rip these ones out. Now, I'm not sure what's in there, but I think they could be Teins as well. But they look almost identical colours and all that sort of thing, so I can't even remember what they were when I put them in. Then I've got some hard race arms here. So these are going to be going in the rear. There's the rear toe arms. So I have to fit those as well. So for the new parts going on this car, I've only so far put the hard race arms on and the new wheels and steel. So yeah, I haven't really spent a lot on this project as yet. So from now on, from here in, all I'm going to do is jack the front up, pull the wheels off, but first I need to measure the height of the car so that I get the right ride height to match what is there already, and then I can drop it down, put the wheels back on it, jack the rear up, put the hard race arms on the back, get all the nuts and bolts and everything in the rear suspension so that I can do all my adjustments and things on the wheel alignment machine, and pretty much it for the night. So once that's done, if I've got time, I'll look into the brake side of things. Now it's going to be really rough. All I'm going to do is just grab some brake line, terminate the ends, put a T on it, block the rear off, and that way the front will just work. So I'm not worried about the brake lines being functional in terms of being able to use on the road at this point, but in terms of being able to put on the trailer and all that sort of stuff, it's going to be super handy. So yeah, let's get into putting the front shocks out and then doing the rear toe arms. So yeah. So I've just gone to fit these shocks in and they don't fit. Real smart. So basically these top hats just need a little bit of shaving. So these ones are obviously a little bit smaller from here to here, and I just need to basically make these do the same thing. So I'm going to go and get my grinder real quick, and then we'll dress those up, chuck it on, and shouldn't be a problem. So what has gone from a fairly minor procedure has now turned into a reasonably major one. So I'm now having to pull this bottom end off the shock, and hopefully it'll fit on the new one. Yeah, things are a little bit messy. So I'm just going to go and do that real quick, hopefully. And yeah, hopefully that won't take too long. Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Seems to be working. Alright, so that's that. Now I'll do the other side and then I'll measure. So I've already taken a measurement here, you can see 95 millimeters. Yeah, I'll take a measurement of that now, and then that's our baseline to go to. So once that's done, I can then move to the rear, and fingers crossed these shocks are sweet. Everything's all buttoned up. Well, not buttoned up, the shocks are in. And some of you may be wondering, as I was putting it together, I was asking myself the question, why am I using secondhand old stuff? Okay, so first of all, free. The first shocks that I bought, I think I paid like $50 or $100 for them or something like that, and they were only the front two shocks. Now I've got D2 shocks on the rear. They won't be staying in the car, the front ones won't be staying in the car either, but it gives me the ability to set the car up. I can get all the static dimensions, wheel alignments, etc., all that sort of stuff done on them, and then later on we can go to probably a custom shock, because we've got two different manufactured vehicle suspension in the car. So we've got FD up the rear and Nissan up the front, S15 Nissan up the front. So the idea is hopefully to run something like an MCA suspension package from Australia. We've started selling those a little while ago, and it'd be really cool to push that brand. I also really like Tein, but because we were running two different shocks, front and rear, with different mounting points and stuff like that, other than, you know, what they do as packages, I figured it would be easier to go with the likes of MCA for that versus Tein and split up two sets, for example. Although I'm pretty sure if we asked them, they would, you know, probably give us a good deal on some custom ones. Anyway, so where are we? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to check the ride height and then raise it or lower it depending on what it needs. And the idea is to get the car even on all four corners, and then we'll do up all of the spring collars and all that sort of stuff to get our desired height. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done right now, and hopefully it doesn't take me too long. It's time to get these hard race arms onto the car. So now I've just got to pull the back wheels off, so I've got access to all the suspension components, and that will allow me to check that everything's got nuts and bolts and the right length and all that sort of stuff, so I can get everything tightened as well. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get the wheels off and see what's underneath. Oh, before I get too far ahead, everything's loose, so there's only so much. Oops, wrong way. Now, this may also be to do with the wheel bearing from memory. I might need to get a new wheel bearing nut. Yeah, this hasn't got a nut on it. So, that will explain. But also because some of these aren't exactly tight. So looking closely, that's missing the nut in here. So basically this holds the whole wheel bearing assembly in place. These are your toe arms, that's your suspension, and you know, it's all pretty loose at the moment. That all needs to be tightened. So yeah, I'll run through, just do a quick bolt check, make sure everything's nice and tight. But first let's get these toe arms off and new ones on, shall we? Hey, guess what? It's Monday, and today we're taking the Mini to have a to have a wheel alignment, so I can start actually working on the guards properly. So we're just about to load it up on the trailer, get things started, and take it down to Firestone. So today should be interesting because we find out whether or not we've managed to get the front and rear end square. So we're down at Firestone and we're just about to unload it. As you can see, Firestone, there we go. Thanks Firestone New Lynn for all of this, it's great. Yeah, now we're going to pull this car off the trailer, get it onto the hoist, and see how far out it is. Hey Benny dog. You ready? You ready? You ready Benny dog? Hey? You ready? Huh? Hey Dave. Hi Dave. Alright, so on the hoist, ready for the alignment, and we just need to square it up on the hoist, then we can put all of the measuring equipment on, check tyre pressures, etc, etc. And then yeah, hopefully it's not too far out of whack and we can just do one shot and off we go. No, foot brake. Oh, foot brake, yeah. I hooked it up. Yeah, man. I mean, it's rough. It works.
Okay, as long as it works.
Don't worry about the battery going straight. It hasn't got one.
Sweet. Do you have a time frame on when you want this completed by?
I want to try and get it done before reunion,
When's
which is February, mid-February next year, if I can. We've got a bit of a plan with them for it if I can pull it off. What are we looking at? Oh! Alright, so it's at this point we figured out there's something wrong with the front end. Now we're not really sure what's going on. Now from memory, the shocks are at full adjustment in terms of camber, but something's not right. We can't get it into adjustment zone where we need it to be. Yeah, so we're just trying to look at what's going on so that we can figure out what adjustments can be made where before we can start moving forward. But obviously we need to adjust the rear before we can adjust the front because that changes everything. Explain what's going on.
So 145 plus half a degree, we can go over that.
Yeah.
So we can go to 2 1/4.
Okay, so
we
just
actually only need to remove this a little bit.
Which might come right when you adjust the toe.
Yeah, it might. I don't think it'll move it 1/4 of a degree, but
I love how far the back wheel is. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's only that toe though, and that rear end is almost perfect. Okay. Well, we were within Kui on.
Well, we're going to do the rear anyway, right?
Yeah.
So let's do that first.
Square that up,
and then see what the front says.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Oh, you need a little steppy set for you.
For my short little.
I should probably put the steering wheel on straight too at some point.
Mate, she's upside down. It's the same way as right way up. It'll be right twice a day.
Yeah. He was just buzzing out because he's like, oh, why is it set up as S15? I was like, because it's got an S15 front. He's like, what? You're paving pats, eh? Alright, up we go. So what we're going to do is adjusting the specs so that everything, well, most things are within specification. So even though we've got an FD rear end in this and we're setting it up, if you see here, setting it up as an S15, we've still got it's like a baseline, right? So most vehicles in the rear are pretty much within Kui of each other, of this era, I guess. Yeah. So that's really the best way to explain it. So we have to adjust the rear first before we can adjust the front, and adjusting the rear can often put the front out as well. So we'll run under the car and see what he does. Hey Dave, yes. You agree with being on YouTube, eh?
Yep. As long as you're going to play some metallic in the
background,
get all your
and I won't because I just don't hate myself that much.
Too gay.
Is it big?
Yeah, well, we're getting it in the green.
Okay.
That's all you want to see for now.
Yeah.
And we can make it pretty later.
And max camber in the rear. Thank you so much. That would be great. So he's adjusted
155.
Yeah, maximum 1.5 degrees.
Over what we. Oh no, is that just what he wants?
Yeah, that's what he said. Max 1.5 degrees in the rear.
What?
I don't know.
But your factory spec for the S15 is more than that.
Sweet. Just go. Well, it's not S15. It's FD.
Oh, true.
So I don't know.
It'll be similar though.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
Oh,
probably.
we should look up the printout for the 7.
Let's just wing it.
Oh, right.
Here's an idea. Why don't we just wing it and then check the specs after?
Okay.
Okay. So, all right. So these are toe arms. This is what he's adjusting first, and then it's camber, which is
We'll change the camber now.
these bad boys. But every small adjustment you make makes big differences in places. So even though here you might go from this point here to this point here, it can actually create a lot of change within the whole rear end. So that's what he's doing now. Let's hope everything's not seized up and just moves. And because I don't even know if the subframe's bent or anything. Fingers crossed it's not. Just looking at what we've got, the construction isn't out of whack. Considering what we've done, you know,
Yeah,
like
no, it's pretty good.
yeah.
It's a lot squarer than a lot of fully built cars we see coming.
Oh really?
Oh yeah.
That's good.
You know, you want to put all their aftermarket arms and suspension in, and
Oh
it's not,
yeah.
you know, 2 degrees negative camber on one side, positive on the other. And
But have you ever had anything like this where it's a combination of 3 different vehicles?
no. Oh no, we had a Honda Integra
Oh yeah.
that they had 4-wheel drive.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
All those DC.
DC2?
Twos, yeah.
DC2. How are we looking, buddy?
It's pretty much square.
Okay. So these also have a left and a right hand thread, one on each end.
We're just nipping it for now. So we're at.
And then if we go over and have a look. So remember what it was like before? And now it's in the green. So we've got good toe, we've got 1.5 degrees of camber. So now, so when he starts making adjustments, you'll see this number here start changing. It's only just out too, it's not far out. Yep. Toes out of spec now. So the toe, see the toe here? It's half a mil out negative. That's what I mean, incremental changes make big changes. And it may not sound like a lot, but it makes big differences in how things handle. Yep. And camber's good. Lock it up, Eddie. Alright, so now we're going to get to go in the front and try and get all of this sorted out. So first of all, we've got to start on the toe. Caster's out, so we need to adjust that, which is all adjustable. But this is the biggest number so far, and then hopefully we'll pull this number in here. If not, we have to figure out what's going on. So yeah, hopefully we don't have to like start cutting things up and changing things. It could just be like the struts bent or something like that. Let's hope not, but it could be something as simple as that. So unfortunately, it's one of those things we don't know until we start pulling things apart, but fingers crossed it'll come right. So it's not too far out, but we'll see. Caster's got to change first. That one there, which is these arms here. So we're going to pull the caster forward, which is really going to mess with things, but yeah. But that might change the camber as well, right?
A little bit, yeah.
So that might put us within the specification range that we need. You like how everything's really loose?
Yes.
So the toes changing now, toes massively.
Yeah, that's alright though, it's actually tying it in.
Remeasure.
John, your big frame's in the way.
God damn it! Thanks, mate. Just get it to reset. Like that. And that changes here.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
I just knew John was coming in, I thought it'd be a get prettied up. That's quite a bit away.
Oh,
It's gone even more negative.
what's going on, buddy?
The rear, that makes sense. That's fine. We won't worry about that yet. Let's try
The front.
That's just
Way out.
miles out.
I mean, how much adjustment more have we got on this? Or are we almost, oh, we're almost at the very end. Well, there's a little bit. Shall we just try and adjust it and then see what it does? Because we've still got, you know, we've got 10 mils of adjustment at least.
You didn't want to have to think this hard on a Monday morning.
No, we didn't. How's your hot chocolate, Joel?
It's great.
Coming right. So if I have to, oh yeah, it's within spec now. Okay, almost within spec. A bit more. Yeah.
When we get the camber up, it's going to drop it.
Yeah.
No, actually, it'll increase it.
Okay, so the issue we've got here, it's a big issue. We're now at 3 degrees negative camber on this side. That's a degree and a half over, no, degree
and a quarter over.
degree and a quarter over spec. So we're already at almost max adjustment here, almost. But if we move that, it's not going to give us the adjustment that we need. So
Loosen these shock bolts.
we're going to loosen the shock bolts and just see if we can have a jiggle around and see if anything's.
How tight are those?
I did them up with a rattle gun, so well, we might be able to loosen them off easy. But yeah, so for getting a degree and a quarter out is quite a lot because we've only got that much adjustment left. So between there and there, and that's not really a lot. It's not going to give us our degree and a half of the camber that we need. And then you look at this side, and this side's like there's heaps of adjustment left. So there's either something wrong with the shock or something wrong with the construction of the car, or a combination of both, right? So yeah, but with creating something from nothing like this with basic tools, like
Not going to be right.
it's
First off.
no, exactly. So if we have to cut things off and reposition, then that's okay. It is what it needs to be. So, but if I was to cut that off and then just move it out ever so slightly, that's pretty much all it needs, right?
As long as you don't move it forward back, so it'll change.
Yeah, if we could just come out, then yeah, that'll be fine. So we're just going to loosen off the shock to hub. What if the hub's bent?
Could be.
You know, it could be that as well, because we don't know what that cut came off. So anyway, just shooting shit. All right, we're just finishing up here, and Dave just pointed something out, and he's like, "Oh, I was wondering why every time I adjusted the toe that it was out. It just kept going out. It was going up and down all over the place." Turns out there's no steering wheel. So that's something we're going to have to order straight away. But while I'm doing it, I'll order new, longer sway bar link bushes as well, just because they're way too short. I need this to be up around here because it's going to be wanting to interfere with that caster arm. And we'll look at replacing these bolts as well because I think they're the wrong size. So yeah, they're just sort of chucked in there to make it mobile. Anyway, we're just about to pull this off the hoist, take it back to the shop. We've got stuff to carry on with today. It's what, 10 o'clock or something. So, but we've got somewhat of a baseline. I can at least do the rear end, and then we can sort out what's going on with the front end, which may or may not include having to chop the driver's side up and reconfiguring it so we've got, you know, within specified range of camber. But we'll just see how we go. So hopefully we don't have to mess around too much, but we need to find out what's bent and why, or maybe when I've set the shock tower up, it's in the wrong position. So all of this stuff can have a huge impact, and it's this kind of stuff that we knew we're going to have to sort out to some degree. So anyway, we're going to leave it there, and we'll see you back at the shop.